Hello everybody, welcome back to the Landedkiller show. Today I'll be giving my thoughts on the newest devblogs in the Lighthouse auction. Without further ado, let's get into it. So here we go, we got our little auction on Schlieffen. I'm kind of surprised that this auction didn't have more in it. You know, I just think it's kind of bare for the auction times. Hang on, we got some background noise. I'm going to take care of that. Be right back, one sec. Alright, here we go, I'm back. Just some construction equipment. Alright, so we have this auction going on. We're going to have Schlieffen with 10-point commander and port slot. A supply bundle with a commander. 20 rising camouflages, coal, and max Elman's commemorative flag. Honestly, I just am so annoyed by this nonsense. So this doesn't really show you the exact items up for auction, surprisingly. It does in one photograph right here. I'm just gonna, nope, it's not wanting to pull up, so. But this is basically what you would come on to if you opened up that. You have Schlieffen, 1,000 winners. Keep in mind that you're competing with all servers for this, besides perhaps China server. So there's a separate client for China. This is going for credits, this is going for credits, this is going for credits, and this is going for doubloons. Does anybody not see what they're trying to get you to do here? I'll tell you straight up. They're trying to get you to waste all your credits on a flag, which really I guess it's okay. I wouldn't bid my credits on this. And a commander, perhaps I would bid some credits on a commander, as I can see the value in the commander and the camo. Coal, maybe. I think the most valuable item here is probably the commander, though. Schlieffen, you're essentially getting conned into spending a ton of doubloons on this, because before you just get this for free if you just waited 2 months. And why not stop at Schlieffen? Why don't you put in Nakamov here as well, Wargaming? You didn't do this with Nakamov, the Soviet Tier 10 CV, because you knew it would generate outrage. That's why. So I'm going to, again, make my call to action. If you guys don't want this kind of stuff going on where they auction off a Tech Tree Tier 10, then say something about it. See here that it goes 1,000 winners. So I believe it goes on for 4 days until the 11th. I think I will be trying to stay out of this one because you're competing with the mega whales on this one anyway. I bet the highest bids are going to be up in the 20,000 doubloon range, maybe even 30,000 doubloon range, because people will get nuts with this. I mean, I will point out that you are going to get your bid back. That's the important bit there that I wanted to point out. You're going to get your bid back. But you're competing with Russia, EU. What's that server called? Southeast Asia server, I believe. And NA. You're competing with 4 regions with a lot of players. So your chances are very, very small for winning this. Honestly, I don't like auction mechanics being in the game, but unlike an auction in real life, you will get your bid back. Sometimes in auctions you don't get your bid back. Higher bid will increase your chance to win a bundle from the list. It's showing you how to place your bid. It doesn't show the other prizes, obviously. It's kind of silly. The other items on the list are available for credits. Then you got some shots of Schlieffen here. At this point, I think that whoever's running Wargaming is wanting to just cash out the game. That's what it feels like. And then you got this flag, which I'm surprised exists because they've been trying to decrease the amount of credits you earn. Not bad bonuses on a camouflage. They're retiring merit of service, that camouflage. So 2 devblogs have came up since the last video I made on the devblog, so I'm just going to cover these in brief. In a follow-up to my earlier video, I said that they would not have all the possibilities until 2022. Well, turns out I'm like half correct on that, because the old containers, April of 2022, new containers, November 2021. So Sea Lord My Bun was half right as well on this. I always admit when I get something wrong, but obviously I didn't have this information in front of me at the time when making that video. This just came out today. You can see the date right here. If I mess up, I'm going to admit when I make a mistake. You know, there's some people that won't even do that. Basic mechanics, detailed description will be published. We'll talk about container drop chances and examples. They're showing you the drop chance right here, 8% for ship, 30% here, 30% here for camo, 22%, 10%. Then they have Perth, Arizona, and Warspite. I'm assuming that this is 25% of this to actually get this, so this is probably around 2% to get a specific ship. If that makes sense. So you have your 8%, and then your odds are divided by 2%, 2%, 2%, and you'll have 25% of getting that 2% here, right here with these guys. Contents can be one specific thing. If an item from ships, 4 ships drop, if you don't have any of them, then the chance to get one of the ships is 25. If you have one of the ships, the chance to get one of the remaining 3 is 33%. Okay, that's good. That's good. They're making some good changes here. Probability does not guarantee that opening a specific number of containers will give you a desired reward. For example, the probability to a specific world set 10% does not mean you're guaranteed to get it if you open enough containers. Statistics and probabilities best reflect the situation for a large number of events. In this example, the event is opening 1 container. The bigger the said number of events, the closer result will be to the expected value. For example, tossing a coin 10 times won't necessarily the 5 heads and 5 tails, even though the probability is 50% for each from. There are many thousands of coin tosses, and the share of different tails, the share of different tails will be close to 50%. As a consequence of this peculiarity, there are those that might be lucky enough in those amounts. It's possible to even open 50. Player won't get the desired at the same time, unlike the lucky ones. That's why, besides the probability, they create a special mechanic. A while back that guarantees you a certain group reward after a certain number of containers were open. This mechanic prevents severe bad luck. It works the same for everybody. Number of containers open. Okay, well, flashback to when I opened up the containers for Juhan DeWitt. It took me 59 times to get that, so I don't think this guaranteed drop mechanic was in place for the random bundles. I really don't. That's a lot of doubloons right there. There are ways to get Johan DeWitt. As for a Good Day Lao video, I will be getting on that when I get some time here. I know I'm a little late on that, but like I said, I have a full-time job. I am doing that most of the time, and me making videos on YouTube is taking up a lot of my free time, so I put out what I can. And I think, honestly, you guys are interested in gameplay and news updates on the game. Because I notice a lot of the World of Warships YouTubers won't even show you the actual text. They'll just read it off, and they won't even show you the actual text. Which I think is kind of silly. Informing in relation, there's 2 promises worth mentioning: a warning about nature of readiness and additional protection of miners. In the next month, all containers and random bundles. Ooh, they're coming back. I mean, they're already matched 10.9. What am I saying? They're sold for money or doubloons, or tokens in this case. We'll have a No. Those aren't random. The ones that we have currently. Those are sequential. I messed that up. My bad. We'll have a warning about random nature and need to make weighted purchases. We'll have an 18 plus confirmation prompt before the purchase is made. Okay, well, that's good and all. Are you gonna come up with some sort of system to verify age besides a confirmation prompt? I guess not. But I guess they're making some progress here with a warning. Lastly, and another following of our promise to continue to search for alternative purchase mechanics that don't necessarily involve a random factor. For example, in 10.9, we're using auction for early access tier X Schlieffens of random bumps. So perhaps in the beginning they were thinking about this a couple months back before all the outrage. Or containers. Well, you still have Max Hellman in containers for this. I will say it's going to be this Friday, perhaps, that we're going to see that. Because on the last patch, that you were able to get the Chakalov, I want to say right away, I think. So this is interesting. They've waited. I don't guarantee you Friday's probably going to be Brandenburg, separate purchase and armory, or should I say the day this video goes up. It's going to be in there already. We hope you like these steps. We'll continue to form progress. Thank you. And then they have submarines. The important bit about this is you get 2 weeks of being able to demount upgrades and reset commander skills for free. A special button will be available to reset your skills until October 7th. Will be released on the portal for October 7th. But I assume it's going to last as long as this 2-week period. It means you can mess around with the skills on the submarines without incurring cost. They're talking about the changes that they did. So what they did was they changed the range at which homing homes in. They switched it for battleships to 2.1, carriers 1.2, 720 millimeters for cruisers, 360 in case of double sonar ping effect. I wonder if that's going on with the battleships and aircraft carriers. We're going to have Wargaming clear that one up. For destroyers and submarines, 120 in case of double sonar ping effect. So they essentially changed the homing so that it's not going to hit. So what's going to happen is the torpedoes are going to home in, and then when they get to this 2.1 range, they're going to just go in a straight line, which I think is a good change. And then I wonder if this double ping effect is affecting carriers and battleships. Since I don't see anything, it makes me question if that's going on. Talking about popularity of subs. Phrasing cause. We do not want to make subs overpowered to boost their popularity. Recruit balanced ships. They'll change or improve mechanics. Stats will affect its popularity, but more mechanics a lot more. Right now, submarines are performing relatively weak. So we are working on balance and improving the mechanics. When we reach a healthy level of efficiency, we'll work on fine-tuning their settings. If a class popularity is lower, they'll look like it indicates that players don't like the mechanics, so looking to improve them. They don't expect submarines to be popular. Our initial summons are quite close to the real ones. Honestly, I think that submarines are not going to be the most popular type, but I think that if you're a new player and you see some marketing, they're probably going to be the first thing you go for besides battleships. There's not too many games that have submarines in them and surface ships that you can play. I'm showing you these little graphs here. I can't really zoom in on them. Is there a zoom function here? We can zoom in on these graphs a little bit. That way people can actually see what they're saying. So you can see here we got class popularity and dynamics last 6 weeks. So this is probably one of their internal reporting tools. Ship class, aircraft carrier, 6%. And what are we looking at? What tier? Okay, I assume we're looking at tier 10 here. Submarine. So we see an up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down, around 14%. And this is in ranked. So if we were to draw a line, through this, like So I believe we'd be looking at perhaps that as we go up and down and up and down, and the average would probably put it around, I want to say 11% perhaps is the average for that. This is class popularity and dynamics. Aggregate by day period. So we're looking at the period of August 20th to October 4th. August 21st to October 10th. Class popularity and dynamics. See, submarines are again looking close to the 11%. Carriers still the least played. We see for some reason battleship low, battleship high. Destroyers are down. Cruisers are sort of. Cruisers look like they're the most played right now. I don't know why. That is interesting. So it went even lower in this chart. In addition, judging by the stability of submarines' popularity, these basic mechanics work well, and player bases are already formed around the class. Working on fine-tuning, submarines being tested in random battles. The spikes on the graph that you see are the effects of random bundles. Players keep submarine parked until the weekend, then play them. The popularity in Gold League is decreasing. We connect this to the fact that submarines are new and somewhat unknown and is weaker than others. Players choose classes that they feel confident in. Okay, so we're looking at ranked season here. So we have aircraft carrier, relative damage dealt and received. Right here, pretty submarines are the red here. So they're not dealing as much damage as their health, it looks like, in some cases. Okay, so this is the damage they're doing. Right here, relative received battle damage, pretty close to almost done. Value is small for destroyers. Lifetime of classes and battle time percentage. We see that in Bronze League. Submarines survival rate was pretty low. Carriers was pretty high at about 60%. Battleship, a little under 40. Cruiser, the lowest survivability. This is probably what, 28%? And then destroyers were slightly higher at around 30, 31. And submarines were even higher. What would I call this? This would probably be what, 37? Maybe this is 37%. In Silver League, we see that the battleship, cruiser, and destroyer are pretty close to each other at around 30%. Submarines surviving longer, around 42. Aircraft carriers surviving the longest at 62. Gold League, we see that battleships again creep up a little bit with higher survivability. Cruisers creep up a bit. Destroyers are the lowest here. Submarines survive longer. Aircraft carriers are up here above 60. So that is interesting. So that is indicating that submarines are the second most survived class in the last rank season. That is interesting. Interactions with capture points. Aircraft carrier low. That's to be expected. Battleship low. Cruiser around 40%. Destroyer most of the time. Let's put this at 97%. Silver League a little bit lower, 80%. Submarines are down here at around 37%. Cruisers are around 42%. Battleship around 22%. Aircraft carrier down here, maybe that's 15%, 15%. Then the battleship stays at 20%. Cruiser around, I want to say maybe this is 36%. Destroyer a little higher, around maybe 82%. Submarine around 43%, I want to say. Potential damage. Bronze looks like we're at battleships doing. No, this is carriers. Carriers doing least amount. Submarines even doing lower, under 200k. Battleships getting close to 800k in randoms. Potential damage. Cruiser a little bit lower. Destroyer a little bit lower. And then you can see that the battleship damage is going up and up, but the submarine damage isn't really changing that much. It's going up slightly, and then you can see the cruisers went up a little bit, and so did the destroyers. And carriers rose up a little bit. You can see that battleships are still causing the most damage. What's the spotting damage? Carrier is going to be high. These are all relatively close to each other. Destroyers and subs a little higher. Again, destroyers and submarines higher, battleships and cruisers lower, aircraft carriers higher, and then suddenly we get way high when we get up to gold, which is interesting. So we got some really skilled aircraft carrier players up at Gold League. And see all the percentages go up a little bit, probably because people set their skills differently, and they have experience. So aircraft carrier and submarine are the highest number of spotting damage. Wow. Is interesting. And what's this graph? Arena duration ranked. They do not have a significant effect on the time of ranked. It was duration of battles without subs, yellows durations with battles with subs. Okay, well, I don't know what's our scale here. Without with submarines, and what's this average arena duration? Okay. Was duration. A lot of comments on to test submarines. Submarines new class. So they're going to take their time, it looks like here, with the release, and they're not going to go with hot fixes to fix things. To understand this, we estimate different things. Also notice requests. So nothing really important here going on. They're not going to increase team size. They say that they don't want to put too much load on the server because they don't want to spend money probably to get better servers, is my guess. 12x12 matchmaker restriction. So this is the important bit here. Submarines. Starting restriction, soft restriction. Starting restriction, soft restriction. Tier 7 and Tier 9. Start restriction, start restriction. Okay, so assume this goes Tier 7, Tier 8, Tier 9. Why are they allowing more submarines and aircraft carriers in Tier 9 versus Tier 10? That just seems kind of weird. Submarines 2, 4. Carriers no more than 1. No more than 4. Start restriction. A team cannot have more than 2 submarines and 2 aircraft carriers at low tiers. 1 aircraft carrier at high tiers. The total limit is set at 3 ships for all these classes. So it can look like 2 submarines and 1 aircraft carrier. By the 4th minute of waiting for the first player in the queue, these restrictions are softened. Tier 7, Tier 9, no more than 5 submarines and aircraft carriers in total, but not more than 4 submarines. What? Okay, Wargaming, you gotta wrap destroyers into this too, because otherwise you're gonna have potentially battles where you have 4 submarines and 4 destroyers. Where's the fun in that? That means you're gonna have less cruisers and more battleships, probably. In Tier 10, 4 ships, not more than 4 submarines and 1 aircraft carrier. But if both classes are present, 3 submarines and 1 aircraft carrier. Okay, why isn't this just uniform? Why isn't it just 3 submarines and 1 aircraft carrier for all the tiers? Why is there more submarines at lower tiers than higher tiers? That just really is backwards when I'm looking at this. They do not cancel existing restrictions for aircraft carriers, which is good. Random bundles. So they're talking about the missions here in the current patch, 10.9. Which is interesting. So they're making it so that you have to have a minimum of Tier 8 to go after the Tier 10 submarine. But honestly, that's not much of a barrier considering people can just buy a premium ship from the shop. Fun reward, 3,000 coal. There's a chain of combat missions. After completing the first mission chain, you get access to the next one. The mission will refresh every 2 weeks. So this test is going to go for the whole patch, most likely. Let's think about this coal number for a second, because you would have 400 times 3, 1,200 coal. So you're getting a little more coal this time around, about double the amount of coal. I guess that's good. So that was a decent thing. I'm happy at this news right here. We need to get confirmation if double sonar ping effect happens with battleships and carriers. That's going to be very important. They need to clarify that. So perhaps somebody could reach out to Boggs and figure that out. Maybe I will. We'll see. Anyway, I want to thank you all for tuning into the Landedkiller show today. I've covered the recent lighthouse auction and the recent devblogs. Keep in mind that if there's devblogs published today after time of recording, I will be covering those when I can get to it. Thank you again for all your support, and I hope you all have a nice day. Thank you.